Hey, what's happening, y'all? This video's been a long time coming. I'm finally trying to do the longer video on this custom job on my Harley Benton double cut that I did. So I did a whole series of shorts as I was doing these mods, and just to kind of talk a little bit about the story there. I had heard about the Harley Benton craze that was going on, the house brand for Tomon over in Europe, and decided to buy me a couple because at the time the duties for bringing them in to the States was the same whether I was ordering one guitar or two. We've actually even got another one since then. So we got this one for one, which is a double cut with 24 frets. And 3 pickups. So this was an ideal platform for a modding experiment that I wanted to do, just to see how crazy I could get this. And then my other one that I got at the same time was this Arctic White single cut, kind of modeled after the EC1000 from ESP Ltd. Three knobs, 24 frets, and on this one I replaced the pickups with some EMG Fat 55s, I think they're called. It's their Alnico magnet pickups. So yeah, did some work on this one, replaced the tuners with locking tuners, replaced the nut, and yeah, so we did that, and then we ended up actually getting another one for mi esposa, which was this. We got their 25th anniversary offset. With those Jazzmaster pickups in their Fire Mist Gold with a flamed roasted maple neck, locking tuners. This one I've left pretty much stock. Sorry, if you see me looking over, I've got my OBS screen up here so I can see what I'm doing and making sure I'm in the shot and stuff, and making sure I'm getting the guitar in the shot where I want it, but my camera is over here. So if it's a little disorienting for y'all, it's a little disorienting for me too. And it's been a while since I've been filming stuff, so yeah, this is might be a little rough. But anyway, there's really nice guitar. The Jazzmaster pickups are super sparkly and twangy, just like you would expect Jazzmaster pickups to be. There's a couple little finish flaws. There's a little... It's hard to see in this light, but there's one spot where they've got the sparklies on, but they missed the color. But like I said, I can't really see it to show it to you on here, and then there's a little nick there. Other than that, this guitar is turned out fantastic. Stainless steel frets. I haven't done a whole lot to this other than do a setup on it. But that's not the guitar we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about the double cut. And all that to just kind of say that I've got a little bit more experience with the Harley Bentons now and kind of know a little bit more about what to expect. They are really good guitars for the money. I'm not sure what that looks like now with all the tariff situation and all that mess. But they are pretty decent guitars for the money. That being said, because they are cheaper, there's definitely a dice roll involved in the QC and what you get. Like, specifically with the double cut, there's like, you can't see it here. I might have some pictures I can throw up in post. But there's like some tooling marks on the bridge. The inlay dots on the side there for the 24th fret are kind of cockeyed. There's been some things. There's been some finish issues. There's been some hardware issues, but you know, and there was definitely the frets were super scratchy. They needed a polish, but with cheaper guitars like this, I'm probably gonna do a fret level anyway. So yeah, they're kind of interesting. They're in an interesting place in the market, where they're definitely decent guitars for the money, but they need a little TLC to really reach their potential. Now, speaking of doing that, with this guitar in particular, my idea was how crazy can I get with the wiring scheme? And so, kind of like I did with the Green Monster, I've taken to calling this one the Beige Monstrosity. My wife says that's a dumb name, and I said, cool, come up with a better one, and she hasn't yet. So, for right now, it's the Beige Monstrosity. So I wanted to do the craziest wiring I could possibly get, and to do that, I actually took the Seymour Duncan P-Rails out of the Gibson SG to use them in here, and ordered another one to put in the middle position. And then, because with the Gibson SG, because the pickups were mounted in the big full pick guard, I couldn't use the triple shots. And I really wanted to use the triple shots with these. So when I got these guitars, and I think this one was like $150, and the single cut was $165, and it was $80 to import them. So yeah, not expensive at all. But this way I was able to put those P-Rails into a triple shot. And yeah, so all three of them are mounted in a triple shot, which lets me choose whether I'm doing humbucker parallel, humbucker wired in series, or picking an individual coil, whether that's the rail coil or the P90 coil. So that already gives us a ton of flexibility with this, but I wanted to go crazier. And other things I did was change out the tuners for locking tuners and change out the nut for Graphtec nut. I left most of the rest of the hardware the same, did a fret level, and polished everything up really good. But back to the controls. So, yeah, normally these come with a 3-way toggle, which I thought didn't provide enough flexibility. So I got a 6-way super toggle. So it almost works like a gear shift in a car. So, you've got your down 3 positions, which is bridge, middle, it's bridge, bridge and neck, neck. And then you flip it to the up position, and that's going to engage your middle pickups. So we've got neck and middle, middle, bridge and middle. A lot more flexibility there as far as what's going on. And if that wasn't enough, I decided to go a step further and install push-pulls. So the way I've got this is I've got a master tone, Rachan. So I've got a push-pull on the master tone that changes between 2 different capacitor values. So the 22 microfarad and the 47 microfarad. One's typically used for single coils, one's for humbuckers. But regardless, basically it just changes the roll-off. We'll listen to that here in a minute. And then each of the pickups has a volume control. And that volume control is a push-pull that flips phase, really, the polarity for each pickup, so that and it's not the same as like a true flipping of the magnet like you would have in like a greenie, but it does flip the polarity so that in any switch position that has 2 pickups together, which should be half of them, you can pull up on one of the push-pulls and get an out-of-phase sound. So, yeah, I went absolutely nutso on this guitar. just to see what I could do and see what the result would be. So it was an experiment, and there's a lot of tones to go through to listen to everything. So I don't know that I'm going to do this in any sort of scientific way, but we can go through and we can listen to some different things and see what we've got. So signal flow wise, basically I'm just going from the guitar into the katana and from the katana into my audio interface, which then has a split off into the mixer that I use for OBS to minimum. I'm finding some weird things where if I use the Katana direct USB connection and the voice channel direct connection for my mic, that if both of those things are on, it causes a weird noise artifact in OBS, and it's horrible and awful. So the workaround I've got is to go out of the line out into the audio in my Focusrite, Scarlett, and then from that into the Model 12. It's what worked. It's weird, but it's what's working to get me a clean signal. I've got my HX effects on, but everything's bypassed. I'm really just using it as a tuner. And we'll go through maybe a couple channels, check some things out on channel 1 that's a clean tone, and then on channel 2, which I've got some grit on it, some crunchy, and just kind of listen to what we've got going on. There might be some mic sound mixed in with the direct sound. I've got the Katana right here under the desk so that the line is easy to get to the audio interface. And it's a little tricky to mute this while I'm also capturing that. So there might be a little blend of room and direct sound, but it should be fine. Okay. So I guess let's get started with just the individual pickups and what the triple shots can do. So currently I'm on the bridge. I've got the two toggle switches facing out from each other, opposite, so that should be, and it's been a while since I wired this all together, so my memory's a little fuzzy and I don't have the diagram in front of me, but humbucker wired in parallel should be a thinner, more single coil-like sound with still having humbucking properties. Okay, that's clean. Let's put some crunchy on it. Okay, so let's change these a little bit and have them both in towards each other. That should be humbucker wired in series, so more like a traditional humbucker sound. Let's get a little crunchy. right. Both coils down should be the P90 coil. Little crunch on it. Okay, back to the bridge. We're on the bridge pickup still, and now I'm pushing both of those forward, which should be the rail coil. And it's interesting in this position that the rail sounds so much darker than the P90. It's not what you would typically think of, but because it's a little bit more forward in position and closer to the middle pickup, it's just a little bit more muffled, a little bit darker. All right, and let's check a little bit about these this push-pull on the tone. That's one that we can go ahead and kind of demonstrate here. So whether it's up or down in the fully open or fully closed position, so it's subtle, but it just changes that roll off a little bit. Not the most useful thing on the planet, but it can come in handy every once in a while. Okay, so that was the bridge pickup. Now let's go to our middle pickup. Let's start, just like we did with the other one, with the two toggle switches splayed apart, which should be humbucker in parallel. That sounds pretty. I could get kind of distracted with that. All right, but let's add some crunch. Okay, back to clean. Putting the two toggle switches together, which should be more of a typical humbucker in series. Yeah, you can hear how much beefier that sounds already. And I assure you, everything's rolled all the way up. I'm hearing a little scratchiness out of the katana. cool. Some crunch. So the neck and the middle pickup are going to be flipped. And that's something to consider when you're installing these, on which tone you like more and which one you like to be a little darker. So the way they come, and you'll be able to tell because they'll be labeled on the back side, and the Seymour Duncan label will be at the bottom and oriented correctly across all of them. But in the bridge position, the P90 is toward the bridge and the rail toward the neck. And in the neck position, the P90 is toward the neck and the rail toward the bridge. That's how these are supposed to be put in. But if you decide, well, I like a P90 sound in the neck, but if it's that far towards the neck, it's a little bit too muffled. I like it to cut a little bit more. Just flip it around. Put the rail closer to the neck and the P90 a little bit further back towards the bridge, and then your neck pickup will have a little bit more brightness, a little bit more cut. That's actually how I had it wired in the Gibson SG. That was actually purely accidental and was a screw up on my part, but it actually worked really well in set up in that way. I just decided not to do that with this one. So it's something to keep in mind, to be conscious of when you're setting these up. So the way they're wired now, you can tell by how much darker this P90 is versus... Wait. Okay, so here's the rail. Here's the P90. So you can hear the rail has a little bit less body. It's a little bit more cutting. It's closer to the bridge. And the P90. Oh, that's buttery. Let's see, doing like some jazzy classical stuff. I like that. I think that for the middle pickup, I think the P90 coil is my preferred thing. Anyway, but we were supposed to be checking some stuff out with some grit, so let's go back to the rail coil. Am I doing major? Am I doing pentatonic? We don't know. Okay. P90 coil with some grit on it. P90 coil. I like it a lot. So let's switch up to the neck pickup, and I've got the toggle switches splayed apart, which should be humbucker in parallel. Okay, add some crunch. Okay, pushing the two toggle switches together for humbucker in series. Okay, and with a little crunch. That was weird. Interesting. Don't know if that was my favorite. A little too muddy, kind of lacking some clarity. But, okay. So I've got both toggles to the south coil. Because this is in one of the flipped positions, that should be the north coil, being the P90. Ooh, getting some fuzziness from the amp. Okay, let's put both of those toggles towards the north coil, which, because this is a flipped thing, should be the south coil, being the rail coil. Yeah, you can hear how much brighter that is, being that it's A, closer to the bridge, and B, it's a hot rail. Let's get some dirt on it. Cool. Of those, I think in the neck position, parallel humbucker was my favorite. Yeah. And I think in the middle position, the P90 was my favorite. And then in the bridge, I think I liked trusty old series humbucker. I think a lot of it depends on whether or not I'm using any gain. If it's clean, yeah, that rail coil sounds pretty nice, or even the P90. When I put some grit on it, that series humbucker is just, it's what it needs. Yep. So, now, with all of those tones kind of explored and established, let's look at some of what we can get with the three positions we haven't gone over that blend some of these things. So let's start with bridge and middle, and for this we'll just use the kind of tones that I've established as, or the settings I've established as my favorite with the triple shots. So we've got our bridge and middle. See, it's right show on our toggle. So, if I'm remembering correctly, I think this one should be the bridge. So if I pull up on that, puts that bridge out of phase with the middle. So another. And of course, depending on what you have set on your triple shots, that tone will change. So let's do something different. So that's humbucker parallel. So the out of phase tone and the in phase tone are both very different. A lot more quacky and thin. Not my favorite. But with humbucker series, sorry, it's hard to remember all this as I'm going over it. That out of phase sound's actually pretty cool. Just a little bit quackier, more more stratty. Okay, so that's bridge and middle. Let's move up to neck and middle. Sorry, I'm getting kind of flustered on what to play. Trying to play things that are similar yet different enough, because I'm starting to get kind of bored playing the same things over and over. Okay, so this pot should be the middle. So if we pull that up. And what would that sound like if we put our middle to the rail coil? Those aren't really that different. But now if we did it with one of the humbucker modes, when it's phase flipped, very different stuff. So let's try this with the neck and bridge, putting it in the down middle position. Okay, and let's pop that, I think my family just got home. Pull up on that push pull to flip the phase on the neck pickup. Very different. Okay, and if we do something different on the triple shot, I've got it parallel humbucker, let's do series. Okay, what about, and I'm working on the neck pickup. All right, what about the P90 coil? Or the rail coil? So all of those, even with the phase reverse, all the different triple shot positions sound slightly different. Anyway, so I think let's roll all those volumes back. So I think that's about it, going over most part half part sum of the different tones that I can get out of this crazy, crazy experiment. I have not done the math to see how many different combinations there are with, 3 humbucking pickups, each one having 4 options, and then there being, 6 different combinations of those pickups, and then each of those, 3 of those combinations, each having push, like the math gets crazy. But as far as the number of different tone variations possible with this thing, it blows the green monster out of the water. The difference being, I don't know how useful a good number of those tones would actually be. This is purely an experiment in insanity, which I think was successful. It turned out really cool, and I'm glad to have it. It's one of those things where if I had something going on, a studio session or whatever, where I'm like, I don't know what I'm walking into, this is something I could take with me and be pretty much guaranteed whatever it is that's needed, I can probably find it. And it being 24 fret, I got all the notes. I'm a little bit lost for words with this thing, just because it's crazy. It's a monstrosity. It is my least favorite guitar color, which is the vintage white, the antique white, kind of beigey looking thing. But that was the color that I could find that had the 3 pickups and 24 frets, and I wanted to go double cut to ease up on the weight a little bit, because I know 3 pickups make these things really heavy. So anyway, that's what I got on this. I'm glad I finally got around to making this video. It's been planned for a very long time, and just life has kept happening, and I haven't been able to get it done. I've got another video in the works on this guitar. Look at that pretty, pretty flame. Ooh. So this is a vintage B72 FTB. So it's thin line T style, and with a mini hum in the neck and a tele pickup in the bridge. And I did crazy mods and stuff on this one too. I got this one from work, and did a bunch of crazy stuff to it. And I've got a before and after video shoot comparison thing that I am shooting for this. I don't know when I'll get it done. I've already shot the before and done all the mods. This is the result. And so hopefully here pretty soon I'll be able to go over all that and finish up with that video and get it out to you guys. So I'm still here. I'm still doing stuff. Currently I am working on my second album. Everything is mixed. Everything is mastered. Now's the fun part where I'm getting funds together to get products made and pay for the copyright and all of that fun stuff. So all of those songs will be releasing on my Matt Hellion channel. If you're not subscribed over there, please jump over and do that, because that's where all my new music's gonna be releasing. Got a couple covers, an acoustic version of Hellraiser that I already did on this channel, as well as a cover of Seek and Destroy. And on that, I've got a whole series that I shot while I was producing that, of how I produce a cover song. And thus far, I've got 8 videos done for that, going from conception and laying down the drums all the way up through mastering. And so that's all going to be releasing on this channel leading up to the album release. So I've got a lot of stuff coming. I know I've been kind of absent for a while, but all of that is coming up. I'm just not sure when, because I've got some personal stuff going on, like always, that is slowing stuff down. But it is coming. I am working on it, and we'll get that done as soon as I can. But anyway, that is it for this video. So yeah, please like, comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff. And leave a comment down below if you want to leave your thoughts, or if you want to do the math on how many possible combinations there are in the Beige Monstrosity. I'd be very curious to see that in that crazy, crazy weird idea that I had. But anyway, that's it for now. We'll see you next time around. Thanks so much for tuning in. And yeah, thanks. You're awesome. And have a good one.